Chapter 12. Baby Feet. Mr. Fargo set up an outdoor studio in the side yard. He spread his canvas on the grass like a rug. On Saturday morning, I saw him climb a ladder with a bucket of blue paint. When he got to the top, he tossed it at his canvas. So when Sheila screamed, "Mrs. Hatcher, come quick! Fudge is all blue!" I figured he'd gotten into Mr. Fargo's paint. Grandma and Mom came running from one direction, me and Jimmy from another. Fudge was sprawled out on the ground near his garden. His face was streaked with blue, his shirt was stained blue, his hands were blue, he had blue in his hair. Even his tongue, which hung halfway out his mouth, was blue. "Mr. Fargo's going to go nuts," I told Mom. "None of us are supposed to go anywhere near his art supplies." "I don't think it's paint," Mom said, spying an empty fruit basket on the ground. She picked it up and waved it at Fudge. "Did you eat up all the blueberries?" Fudge moaned. "You ate our blueberries," I said. "Jimmy and I were on our knees more than 2 hours picking them, and Grandma was going to bake us a pie." "I didn't eat them all. Turtle ate some." "You fed Turtle blueberries?" I asked. "He liked them." "Turtle's a dog," I said. And the sound of his name, Turtle appeared from behind the bushes. He plopped down next to me. "Let me see your tongue," I said, opening his mouth. "Blue!" His tongue and teeth were all blue. Fudge clutched his stomach and moaned again. "Boy, are you going to be sick," Jimmy told him. "I already am. My tummy hurts so bad." "I'm not surprised," Mom said. "I know exactly what he needs," Grandma said, heading for the house. She came back with that peppermint medicine we get every time we have an upset stomach. "Down the hatch," she sang, feeding him 1 teaspoonful. "How about some for Turtle?" I asked. "Why not?" Grandma said. "What's good for the goose is good for the gander." I held Turtle's mouth open and Grandma poured in a spoonful. "Blue gas," Jimmy whispered. "He's going to make blue steamy gurgling gas." "I don't want blue gas," Fudge cried. "What are you talking about?" Mom said. "There's no such thing as blue gas." "There is if you eat enough blueberries," I told her. "Really, Peter," Mom said, "let's not make this any worse than it already is." That missed the blueberry adventure. He'd gone to town dock right after breakfast to see about renting a sailboat. By the time he got back, Mom had carried Fudge to the porch, where he lay on the old wicker couch. Everyone gathered around the blueberry boy. Everyone had a suggestion for him. "Lie on your tummy, Fudge," Mrs. Tubman said. "That's what I do when mine hurts." "A hot water bottle," Mr. Tubman said. "That'll fix it." "Make beautiful pictures in your mind," Buzzy Sr. suggested. "Just throw it all up," Mr. Fargo said. Sheila was about to say, "Ew, disgusting," when Dad ran up the porch steps. "I've rented a nice little 19-footer, he said. You could tell he was really excited. "We can take a picnic lunch." He stopped when he saw Fudge. "What's wrong with Fudgy?" he asked Mom. "Why is he all blue?" "It's a long story," Mom said. "I'll tell you all about it later." Dad paused for a minute and shook his head. Then he said, "Well, I've got the boat from noon to 4 and I can take up to 6 passengers. I know Peter wants to come. How about the rest of you?" "I've never been sailing," Jimmy said. "No problem," Sheila told him. "I'm an expert. I'll explain everything to you." Somebody should tell the Guinness Book of World Records about her, I thought, since she's the world's leading expert on everything. "Count me in," Grandma said. "Count me out," Buzzy Sr. said. "Buzzy," Grandma said, "you don't like sailing?" "About as much as a fish likes being out of water." Mr. Fargo said, "Thanks, but no thanks." Mrs. Tubman said she really wasn't into water sports, but she'd go if Mr. Tubman would. Mr. Tubman said he had no sailing experience, but he'd always wanted to give it a try. "What about Fudge?" Sheila asked Mom. "Fudge isn't going anywhere," Mom said. Except to the bathroom, Jimmy whispered to me, and we both cracked up. All 7 of us piled into the back of Mr. Fargo's truck. Have a good sail, he called when he dropped us off with our gear. The boat that I rented was tied to the dock. It looked kind of small, especially next to the really big boats that were moored in the harbor. As soon as we were on board, Dad handed out life jackets. There was one for each of us, and that rule was we had to wear it the whole time. Then he started to explain the man overboard rule. Excuse me, Mr. Hatcher, Sheila said, but couldn't we call it the person overboard rule? I mean, man overboard sounds so sexist. Okay.